Hey, hi friends, this is Pastor Coates. I want to welcome you again today to another Money Talk session that we're calling in our series, 31 Reasons Why People Have Not Fully Received Their Financial Harvest. This is message number 11 in this series, and here it is. Some give only when they feel like it, rather than when they are inspired by a man of God. Some give only when they feel like it, rather than when a man of God inspires them. So let me unpack this for you. And this is so important because the harvest always comes into our lives because of faith. And this is an important step to the releasing of our faith. The best way to illustrate this is the story of the prophet Elijah. Maybe you remember. He is looking, now listen, into the face of the desperate, anguished widow of Zarephath. Imagine the desperation of the situation that she was in. She had watched her son literally waste away to nothing right before her eyes. They were at a point now where they had nothing left, only enough provision to make a tiny little cake. In fact, she has said to the prophet, 1 Kings chapter 17, verse 12, "As long as the Lord God lives, I have nothing baked, only a handful of flour in a jar and a little oil in a jug. And now I'm gathering a couple of sticks that I may go in, prepare it for myself and my son." And here's what she said, "that we may eat it and that we will die." Her faith was at the bottom. She had nothing. But the man of God said to her in verse 13, "Go and have no fear, do as you have said, but first make me a little cake and bring it to me, and afterwards make something for yourself and for your son." Now guess what? She did exactly what he told her to do. Her faith was inspired. She had nothing. She was at the bottom. She didn't even have enough to provide for herself, much less make him something. But at the voice of obedience to the man of God, she sowed that seed, made that cake, and he said, "After you make something for me first, you'll make more for your son and for yourself." Now, this would be another lesson probably, but I'll just mention it today. Elijah was in her life what we would call a financial deliverer. There's someone that everyone needs in their life, and that person is a financial deliverer. Now, don't get the wrong idea. A financial deliverer is not a person that's going to come into your life and give you money. Remember this, people are not your source. God is your source. People are your soil. A financial deliverer is a man of God who gives you a divine instruction. And when you obey that divine instruction, you release your faith, wrap your faith around your seed, and sow it with expectation that schedules the harvest in your life. Now, the end result in this story was the harvest was released to this widow. Verse 15 and 16 say that she went and she did as Elijah had said. She and her household ate for many days. The jar of flour was not spent, neither did the jug of oil become empty, according to the word of the Lord that he spoke. Who's he? God spoke by Elijah. So Elijah was the financial deliverer because he had a word from God. And when she sowed because she was inspired by the voice of the man of God, her harvest was released. Now, this is so big because most of us only sow when we feel like it, when we have a surplus, or when we feel like we have a lot of faith. But if we will listen for divine instructions that come into our lives from the voice of a financial deliverer and obey that instruction, it will release a supernatural harvest in our lives. So this is reason number 11. Some only give when they feel like it, rather than when they are inspired by a man of God. And that could be why they have not fully received the harvest that God has for them.